The area of film I'll be focusing on is the film movement German Expressionism. This comparative study will investigate the influence of German Expressionism on contemporary films. The movies that will be compared and contrasted are the 1922 film Nosferatu by the director Frederick Willem Marno and 2006 Pan's Labyrinth, which was directed by Guillermo del Toro. German Expressionism appeared after the First World War with Robert Wiene's The Cabinet of the Dr. Caligari, which was created in 1920. But what is Expressionism more generally? It is a distortion of reality that aims to make us feel an emotion. At the end of World War I, artists had a pessimistic view of the world. This is why German Expressionism tackles the same themes globally: fear, anxiety, and madness. This idea of distorting reality is also displayed in cinema. The goal is the same: to express a feeling. The characters, the lights, and the sets contribute to the atmosphere of the expressionist films. Fantasy and horror films are the two genres that will marry marvelously with German Expressionism. But what is special about German Expressionistic films? Initially, the characters in the Expressionist films must convey emotion and be in adequacy with the themes and the genre of the film. As a result, the characters will be strange, crazy, and scary. To achieve such a result, the actors are in costumes and heavily disguised to distance them as much as possible from reality. In addition, the first German Expressionist films were silent, so the acting was exaggerated. This staging can make us smile today, as it may seem unrealistic, but at that time it created a feeling of madness or fear. The films are shot in the studio, so the lighting is handmade. Once again, we move a little further away from reality by creating a new world where light dazzles the faces of characters who appear as corpses. The strongly supported makeup allows them to multiply the expressiveness of the actors. And thanks to the lighting, the characters can appear sometimes as so much livid faces, sometimes converted in form of manifest shade. Another very significant characteristic of German Expressionism is the setting. Generally, the setting the films take place in are nightmarish, with emphasis on geometric shapes which would convey sensations. Taking the film elements used in German Expressionism into consideration, Nosferatu, one of the greatest German Expressionist films, will be analyzed, which will help the study to further understand the influence the film had on contemporary films. The plot of the movie consists of a real estate agent, Thomas Hutter, in 1838, who leaves his young wife, Ellen, for Count Orlok's castle in the Carpathians. There, Hutter discovers that the Count is actually Nosferatu, the vampire, and is a victim of repeated bites of the monster. Nosferatu leaves the castle in a coffin filled with earth in a sailing trip, which he terrorizes the crew and the town. He furthermore moves to his house, directly opposite of Hutter and Ellen. We can see through Max Schreck's makeup embodying Nosferatu, whose face is completely deformed. He has very oddly large features considering his nose, ears, eyebrows, and eyes. But most importantly, the most eye-catching feature is the extreme large hands and long nails, which successfully displays the evil beast, but also in the black-white contrast that gives him ghostly appearance to the characters. His face and hands are extremely white, and he is dressed in all black. The setting of the movie is also extremely expressionistic, with buildings having odd features such as the uneven heights, odd designs, and disproportionate windows. There is a lack of consistency in the architecture. This helps stimulate the feeling of insecurity and danger. The feeling of fear is also projected through the irregular, sharp, and angular shapes in the movie. Nature captured by the director plays a large role in the expressionism of the film. The momentum of the waves lets foresee the approach of the vampire, and represents the terror which will strike in the city. On all these landscapes, dark hills, forests, skies with jagged clouds that announce a storm, hovers the great shadow of the supernatural. The fact that most indoor scenes take place in enclosed and confined spaces, combined with the great tension in the film, produces unease in the viewer. A feeling of suffocation and a heavy atmosphere that presents this political, economic, and social disorder of Germany at the time. Nosferatu can also be considered as a metaphor for the fate of Germany. Like the rise of Nazism in the society of the time, Nosferatu brings with it the evil, death, and terror in the village. The director of the film also introduces other special effects to accentuate the disturbing atmosphere, in particular thanks to the numerous effects of shadow and light. In certain sequences, the filmmaker, rather than showing Nosferatu, he prefers to evoke his presence by his shadow. In the famous scene of the stairway, where the vampire is about to enter Ellen's room, only the shadow of the character is visible. Nosferatu's already discomposing appearance, crooked nose, arched back, misshapen teeth and ears, and elongated fingers, is accentuated by its enlargement and distortion. Pan's Labyrinth is a Spanish film that was greatly influenced by the German Expressionist movement and the movie Nosferatu. Many similarities and expressionistic elements can be seen in the contemporary film. The film takes place in 1944 in a rural area of Spain, where Republican rebel forces oppose armed resistance to the dictatorship of General Francis Franco. Ophelia, the protagonist of the film, has to live with the Captain Vital, a cruel Spanish civil guard, due to her mother marrying him. Ophelia is drawn into Pan's Labyrinth through the fairies, where she manages to escape from the violent reality of Captain Vital's camp. This is a very expressionistic film that is also drawn a lot by realism, with the plot of the war. A German expressionist film aims to portray pessimistic emotions due to Germany's post-war state. The movie Pan's Labyrinth is extremely similar in the context of the Spanish Civil War. As the viewers are introduced to the magic world of Ophelia, the similarities between Nosferatu and Pan's Labyrinth starts to be projected more clearly. Initially, the shadows and the lighting in the film immediately displays the expressionistic elements. The dark scenes of the film successfully portray the mood of uncertainty and insecurity, just like Nosferatu. The usage of light on the protagonist in the dark brings out the idea of reality versus supernatural, as the fawn is left in the dark at most times. The director makes high usage of contrast between shadows and highlights in the fantasy parts of the film. The usage of colors in the film is further expressionistic, as the tint of the colors, blue and green, can be seen in her fantasy world. The faun in the film is similar to Nosferatu. The creature is elaborately costumed and make-upped in an extreme way, which creates the feeling of distrust in the audience. He has an odd structured face, large eyes, horns, odd body, and very long fingers, just like Nosferatu. The faun's face is emphasized with bright white makeup again, similar to Nosferatu. There are other creatures which step out of realism. For instance, the baby-eating creature. The creature's face is completely disoriented, its eyeballs being in its hands. In addition, having a very long, soggy body, which creates the emotion of instant fear and discomfort in the audience. The setting of the film is another key aspect where the influence of German Expressionism can be seen. The castle is located in an isolated hill, just like in Nosferatu. The nature is displayed very effectively in dull colors as it helps reflect the mood of the film. The nature and extreme rain and the cloudy climate accentuates the terror of the war. On all these landscapes, dark hills, forests, skies with jagged clouds, very much like Nosferatu, heightens the emotions that's perceived from the war. Moreover, whenever Ophelia transitions to the fantasy world, it is always located in enclosed and compacted spaces, creating the sense of unease on the viewer, which was seen recurringly in Nosferatu. The appearance of shapes in the setting of the film is also very useful as it's portrayed disorientedly. The spaces where the shots are taken in the fantasy world of Ophelia are extremely expressionistic, as can be seen in the scenes where the protagonist enters the inside of the tree, which is extremely compact, with odd shapes of lines presented with the roots of the trees. Another eye-catching setting is the house of the baby-eating creature. Thank you for watching.